Can I put the mic here? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balava Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Balava Girivaradhari Cartels Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yamuna Jera Manachari Yamuna Jera Manachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yamuna Chiravanachari Yamuna Chiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Prabhupada Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Come on, clap your hands. Hare Krishna Jaka Jaka Rama 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 Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Vishnu Paramahansa Parivakacharya Stores that is seasoned by English. A Vaishnava in the background, Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Let's confound up, Bibbidi Founder Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Vishnu Paramahansa Parivakacharya Stores that is seasoned by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava in the King. Namacharya Haridas Thakur King. Prem Shri Goshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyama Kun Radha Kun Kiri Govardhana Ki Mathura Vrindavan Dhama Ki Navadvip Mayapur Dhama Ki Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki ISKCON Brooklyn Shri Shri Radha Govinda Dham Ki Jamuna Maya Ganga Maya Ki Shri Mai Tulsi Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Sankirtan Yagya Ki Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Transcendental Psalm Distribution Ki Transcendental Cow Protection Ki Samveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Go Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. On which verse today, please? Say? 3:15, 16. But they didn't do 13, 14. So please tell me. Please tell me what I have to do. Third canto? I can't read from me. What? Tell me. 15th chapter. Which? Third canto, 15th chapter. Text 16. Okay. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yatram, Chadyam, Puman. This is 15, no? 16. This is 15, I've got. Okay. Yatram, Naishreyasam, Namam, Vanam, Kamadugam, Drumayam, Sarvatu, Shribir, Vibrajat, Kaivalyam, Eva, Murtimat, Yatra Naishreyasam Nama, Vanam Kamaduga, Drumahi, Sarvatu Shribir Vibrajat Sarvatu Shribir Vibrajat Kaivalyam Eva Murtimat Yatra Naishreyasam Nama Vanam Kama Dugadramahim Sarvatu Shribir Vibrajat Kaivalyam Iva Murtimat Yatra Nishreyasam Nama Vanam Kama Dugadramahim Sarvatu Shribir Vibrajat Kaivalyam Iva Murtimat Yatra in the Vaikuntha planets, Naishrayasam, auspicious, Nama, named, Vanam, forests, Kama Durgahai, yielding desire, Drumai, with trees, Sarva, all, Ritu, seasons, Shribihi, with flowers and fruits, Vibrajat, splendid, Kaivalyam, spiritual, Eva, as, Murtimat, personal. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhishek Arvinda, Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. In those Vaikuntha planets, there are many forests which are very auspicious. In those forests, the trees are desire trees, and in all seasons they are filled with flowers and fruits, because everything in the Vaikuntha planets is spiritual and personal. Please repeat. In those Vaikuntha planets, there are many forests which are very auspicious. In those forests, the trees are desire trees, and in all seasons, they are filled with flowers and fruits, because everything in the Vaikuntha planets is spiritual and personal. Purport. In the Vaikuntha planets, the land, the trees, the fruits and flowers, and the cows, everything is completely spiritual and personal. The trees are desire trees. On this material planet, the trees can produce fruits and flowers according to the order of material energy. But in the Vaikuntha planets, the trees, the land, the residents, and the animals are all spiritual. There's no difference between the tree and the animal, or the animal and the man. Here the word murtimat indicates that everything has a spiritual form. Formlessness is conceived by the impersonalists. Formlessness, as conceived by the impersonalists, is refuted in this verse. In the Vaikuntha planets, although everything is spiritual, everything has a particular form. The trees and the man have form. And because all of them, although differently formed, are spiritual, there's no difference between them. Like to hear a bit more? Go to this Vaikuntha planets, yeah? No? Want to hear the next verse too? A bit more description. Anyway, I'm going to read it whether you don't like it or not. Vain manika shilalanas charitani shasvad gayanti yatra samalakshapanam bharatu antajale nuvikasam madhumadavinam kandena kandita diyo pyanilam kshipanta. In the Vaikuntha planets, the inhabitants fly in their airplanes, accompanied by their wives and consorts, and eternally sing of the character and activities of the Lord, which are always devoid of all inauspicious qualities. While singing the glories of the Lord, they deride even the presence of the blossoming Madhavi flowers, which are fragrant and laden with honey. Please repeat. In the Vaikuntha planets, the inhabitants fly in their airplanes, accompanied by their wives and consorts, and eternally sing of the character and activities of the Lord, which are always devoid of all inauspicious qualities. While singing the glories of the Lord, they deride even the presence of the blossoming Madhavi flowers, which are fragrant and laden with honey. Purport. It appears from this verse that the Vaikuntha planets are full of all opulences. There are airplanes in which the inhabitants travel in the spiritual sky with their sweethearts. There is a breeze carrying the fragrance of blossoming flowers, and this breeze is so nice that it also carries the honey of the flowers. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha, however, are so interested in glorifying the Lord that they do not like the disturbance of such a nice breeze while they are charming the Lord's glories. In other words, they are pure devotees. They consider glorification of the Lord more important than their own sense gratification. In the Vaikuntha planets, there is no question of sense gratification. To smell the fragrance of a blossoming flower is certainly very nice, but it is simply for sense gratification. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha give first preference to the service of the Lord, not their own sense gratification. Yes, thank you. Serving the Lord in transcendental love yields such transcendental pleasure that in comparison, sense gratification is counted as insignificant. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Om Ganati Marandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Shakshuram Militam Jena Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manubhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Svapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Sivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Makam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langai Tegirim, Yat Kripatalam Nande, Shri Gurundina Tarinam. Prabhupada said his spiritual master was a Vaikuntha man. And we also say Prabhupada was a Vaikuntha man. And he brought the atmosphere of Vaikuntha in the Hare Krishna movement, which he spread all over the world. Yeah. And the Hare Krishna movement means glorifying the Supreme Lord. That means Vaikuntha. There's a verse which maybe one of you knows, that the Lord is not present, Narada says, not present even in Vaikuntha, believe it or not, or anywhere else where the yogis are doing tapasya, or anywhere, but where the devotees are glorifying the Supreme Personality of God, that's where Krishna is, in the kirtan. Yeah. So this movement is actually difficult for ordinary mundaners to understand. They cannot understand, what are these people doing? One time a journalist came to Prabhupada in L.A. and he commented about because it was new then in L.A., devotees in saris and dhotis and shaved head, and same it was new in London. What are they doing? Why are they doing it? Banging drums and cymbals and dancing. What are they doing? You know what Prabhupada said? To attract attention! That's right, wake up. Hare Krishna. To attract attention. You weren't sleeping, no? It's all right. My mistake. So, to attract attention. That's the whole idea. Because the whole of mundane society has got their attention on sense gratification, sense gratification. The whole material world is rebellious. We're turning our back on Krishna. Krishna Boli Sajiv, Anadya Bahir Mukh. The Bahir Mukh, the material energy. That's what we want. We want sense gratification. And we don't want Krishna. What's Krishna to do with sense gratification? I was hearing a class by Prabhupada who was saying, what's that verse? Yasyaham anugrami harisye taddanam shanai. Nobody likes Krishna because he takes away all your money. Who wants a Krishna? So Hare Krishnas are most unpopular. You're going to lose your money. Krishna may take it all away. What you going to do? If I surrender to Krishna, then, Krishna, anyway. So this is sense gratification world. Sense grat world. And Lord Chaitanya has come to deliver the sense gratification world to Vaikuntha world, or the spiritual world, somehow or other. Sabanistarete Prabhu, Kripa avatar, mercy avatar. In order to deliver the fallen souls, Krishna comes as a Kripa avatar, Sabanistarete, to deliver. Sabanistarete habi chaturi apar, in many, many ways. Lord Chaitanya had to do many tricks to deliver the fallen souls. And Prabhupada also had to do many tricks to deliver the fallen souls, just like he was scared that his godbrothers would criticize him because girls and boys were living in the same temple. It's mentioned in Adi 7, the Lord in 5 features. Prabhupada was, criticized. How is it that women are living in the same temple as the boys? And Prabhupada said, yeah, because actually in America there's no segregation. It's co-educational school. Boys and girls have equal rights. To artificially try and separate them is not practical. And because I don't separate them, and they're working very well, preaching and spreading this movement together. Of course, we don't allow boys and girls to sleep together or have illicit sex. But the simple adjustment by the Acharya is what Prabhupada did. He was successful. Even Lord Chaitanya did some crazy thing. Do you know that? In his time, taking sannyas was something you do at old age, when you're a fag end of your life. Of course, except for some exceptions like Shankaracharya and Madhvacharya. But Lord Chaitanya took sannyas when he was how old? 24, 26, 24. His wife was young, his mother was young. He was well set up. He was well set up because a Brahmin like Lord Chaitanya can earn fabulous money. When he went to Bangladesh, East Bengal, he earned a huge amount of money. The kings loved him. They donate big money. So, but Lord Chaitanya, the students were laughing at him when he displayed love of God. Having come back from Gaya, he met Ishwarapuri in Gaya. And Ishwarapuri gave him the holy names to chant. And Lord Chaitanya said, what kind of names you've given me? Is man going mad? And Ishwara Puri said, I'm very much obliged to you. You've developed love of Krishna. Now, Nach Gao, Bhakta Sangi, Kara Sankirtan, Harinam Upadeshi Tara Sarvajan. Now you go dance and sing in the association of devotees. Nach Gao, Bhakta Sangi, Kara Sankirtan, perform Sankirtan, Harinam Upadeshi. And you give the instructions about the chanting of the holy name. And this way you deliver the people. So this was a complete novelty. So when Lord Chaitanya came back, he was going through a place called Kanainatchala, which is in the border of Bihar, now on the border of Bihar and Bengal. And there was a mountain there, a small mountain, it's like maybe 100 foot. And the cliff you can see right down into the Ganga. It's really an amazing place. Kanainatchala, you should go there. Natchala means a place where they show the pictures of Krishna's pastimes every year. I think at Kartik, on certain days, all the people bring their pictures which they keep at home, many rare paintings of Krishna, and they put them up. And it's called Kanainatchala. Kanai means Krishna, Natchala. So Lord Chaitanya went there, and there was a footprint of Krishna. And guess what? Krishna gave him darsha. And he saw the beautiful form of Krishna as a young boy playing the flute. And he tried to embrace him. Because Lord Chaitanya is an incarnation, or he's in the mood of Radharani. So he felt, because he's already mad with love of God after being initiated. So he tried to embrace Krishna. Krishna disappeared. And he felt so much separation that when he came to Mayapur, everyone thought he was mad. They thought he's gone bonkers. He's nutty, you know. They thought he got some disease, disease of the air, the life airs of the body. And people also think about Hare Krishna. It's like, what are these people? That journalist in LA, what's he doing? What are they doing? You just don't do that. Even the Christians don't do that. Even though, I once read a book. It was a very interesting book. I tried to find that book. It's called The History of Caroling. The History of Caroling. You know caroling? 12 Days of Christmas. Hark the herald angels sing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. They sing nice songs at Christmas. What's that song? In London there was opposite the temple there was an advertising studio, and we got to know them actually. They actually quite liked us. And they said, all right, we'll publish a CD if you publish Krishna carols with Hare Krishna. So what's that one, the famous one we do? What's the most famous Krishna carol? Jingle, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I can play on accordion if you like. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Come on. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So so we made that CD and they used it for their publicity. But the history of caroling shows that this caroling goes way back, hundreds and thousands of years. People used to do it every day. And then when the Industrial Revolution started, in the middle of the 19th century, when after Darwin wrote the, Origin of the Species, 1854, that terrible day. Actually, that was almost the day when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was born. I think it was 1855 or 1856. So anyway, the Industrial Revolution started. They thought, sense gratification. We need sense gratification. We don't need the Bible. So they started to produce things for sense gratification, the motor cars and everything. So when the factories needed more people, and they needed more for the mills, they needed people to work in England for the mills to produce cotton. They took the cotton from India and they baled it up and then they milled it and they made cotton cloth and they flogged it back to the Indians, the dear old British. So nice, wasn't it? I'm from England. So anyhow, the thing is they didn't have enough manpower. And they saw all these guys chanting Hare Krishna in the street. 24/7. 24/37. What is it? 12:37. 12. Anyway, every day. They think we've got to stop this caroling, this chanting of the holy names, with cymbals and drums. So we just make it 12 days at Christmas. This is what's going on. So Prabhupada, is actually not starting anything new. Christians are also doing it, but the Christians have forgotten. Now Hare Krishnas are kick-starting it again. Prabhupada kick-start. So the journalists were like, what are you doing? This chanting of the whole... Prabhupada said to draw attention, what to? The spiritual world, where we belong. Go back to God and get out of this place. It's like a toilet. Do your business and get out. So, this is what this Hare Krishna movement is all about. It's a rebellion amongst the rebels. The rebels come for sense gratification, and we're making a rebellion against that. Nunam pramata kurute vikama yadindriya pritaya aprinoti. People are mad when they think that the aim of life is sense gratification. Why? Because your sense gratification is going to end pretty soon, my dear boy. How is the time? End lecture by 8:50. Okay. So, we've got 8 more minutes and then we have questions and answers. So people are mad. The civilization of madmen. Therefore, Sankirtan, we're teaching another form of sense gratification. Vishaya vinivatanti ni raharasya dehino. Rasova jam rasopsya shaparam jisvanavada. There's a higher sense gratification. And that sense gratification is yearned for in everyone's heart. When in Harinam Ruchi we see people, they're delving into their steak and chips and pizzas. But they're not happy, really happy. They have to be drunk in order to be happy. And then Vishnu Jam knocks out a heavy beat. And then we come along with a mic. Can you say Hare Krishna? And how they kind of go through transformations. Oh, I see Hare Krishna all of a sudden. And then they start to chant and they start to taste something. The Sankirtan movement, to give a taste for that nectar for which you're always anxious. So these are seeds. And some people may have already had the seed planted. And we can see. Sometimes the middle-aged people, they've heard the Hare Krishna mantra, which was produced by the Beatles. Actually, that wasn't published in America. I don't know why it was a conspiracy. It wasn't published here. It was published all over Europe and England. I don't know what happened. But some people, especially older people, oh, Hare Krishna, I haven't seen you for years. Hare Krishna, the old people with grey hair. They remember the crazy 60s when the Hare Krishnas were on the street. And they say, Hare Krishna, they like it. So it's cultivating the creeper of love of God. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jeev. Guru Krishna Prasadi Paya. Bhakti Lata Bees. In some people, the seed has already been planted. And very quickly, they get up and they jump and they dance with us. You can't believe it. There's so much nectar out there on Harinam. It's Vaikuntha, actually. We're creating Vaikuntha atmosphere amidst the sense gratification nonsense, where people are actually suffering from birth, death, old age, and disease, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, chewing the chewed. Punuksh chavita chavananam, matena krishna paratos fatova, metobe padyeta, grihavartanam, adantagobi vishatam, tamishram, punakpanas chavita chavananam, adantagobi vishatam. They're trying to enjoy Santa unlimitedly in different ways. And they can't be persuaded by because they're so much attached to their homes and houses. Grihavartanam. They decided, I must enjoy in this world somehow or other, even though I'm suffering like anything. I've got to try and enjoy. But then Hare Krishna comes along. Excuse me, sir. Yeah, there's a nice little book for you. A nice set of books. And they persuade them because these are like the Vishnu Dutas coming along. They look at the devotees. They're so pure. They don't have any motive in the world but to give the book, to give the holy name, give the prasadam. They're attracted to the devotees. Yeah. This is the only way people can turn away from sense gratification. It's by association of devotees. And that's what we're here for. That's the Sankirtan movement. And Prabhupada did it to us. Prabhupada was a Vaikuntha man. He's from the spiritual world, like his Guru Maharaj, and all the previous acharyas, and Lord Chaitanya. And they find ways to spread their personalities, their bhava, the Vaikuntha bhava to us. Prabhupada's chanting Hare Krishna, the holy name, his classes, his prasadam, his activities, Rathayatra, everything, is Prabhupada's personality. Because in the spiritual world, there's personality. It's not just the dead spirit. People think spirit means, just emptiness or something, impersonal. But no, my father had a father, he had a father, he had a father, he had a father. Back. Who was the original father? It's Krishna. Krishna's saying, Aham savasya prabhavo, matak savam pravartate. But people don't believe that. They think, God, how can God be a person? There's no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me. As pearls are strung on the thread. People don't believe it. People can't believe it until they hear the holy name. That's the mercy of the holy name in Kali Yuga. Harinama, 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 Eva Kevalam. Kalona Steva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatina. When people hear the holy name, they get purified. And they begin to believe, maybe God is a person. Maybe I am spirit soul. And this is the whole aim of Hare Krishna movement. So we're almost there. So it's great to be back in New York and with Radha Govinda and Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees. And we're going on to Times Square today. Let's see if we can make it. Vaikuntha atmosphere in Times Square. Sometimes difficult, We have to try hard. But sometimes Krishna gives a glimpse, a taste of that nectar for which we're always anxious. And people join in and they dance around and forget their miseries and forget the material world. So this is what we're trying to do. Meanwhile, the whole of the world is boiling up for disease, old age, and death, war. But at the same time, the Sankirtan Yaga, we burn off by pleasing the demigods. We can save this world. Saha yagya prajashvistva, puravacha prajapasi, anena prasavisyadvam, eshavo vishvakarmadu. It's not just spiritual sense gratification. There's rhyme in our madness. Because by performing Sankirtan Yajna, we please the demigods. And they can give rain. America needs rain. Colorado River is almost dry. The Rhine River in Germany is almost dry. The whole world is running short of water, running short of electricity, you know. So we have to perform yoga. This is a science. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Okay, we're on time now. 8:50. Any questions, please? We've got 10 minutes for questions. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Kya prashna cha? Kya prashna hai?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. I have a question about, because there's two forms of taste, or ruchi. I was thinking particularly for kirtan. So there's
Sorry? Question about?
Of taste in kirtan. So,
taste?
Yeah, there's taste, whether or not the presentation is nicely done, and there's taste as long as the presentation is nicely done. And the examples given, like if you're doing deity worship and you have nice silver paraphernalia and everything's nicely polished and very opulent, then you enjoy doing the arti. So how can we gain, if we have some taste for kirtan as long as it's done nicely, like, you know, the presentation as well and the timing is on and all the instruments are playing, you know, all that kind of thing. What are some ways?
Presentation is what?
Sorry. Oh, the instruments are like nicely played and on time, all that kind of thing. So, but the question is then, how do we gain higher taste when the presentation isn't so well? What are some...
When the what?
The presentation is not so perfect of kirtan. How do we gain taste when the presentation isn't so well done for kirtan?
Wow. That's up to us, no? Ashadadana Purusha. It all depends on our faith, doesn't it? Prabhupada, there's some kirtans where Prabhupada is listening to us chanting, you know. I think in New York. Our chanting is really, you know, not very tasteful. But Prabhupada tolerated it because he could see we are chanting Hare Krishna. He was so happy, actually. And so it all depends on our viewpoint, you know. We get all kinds of crazy people to chant. You know, and you can get all people to chant. And actually it sounds so happy, so blissful, because conditioned souls are chanting and they're hearing. So just remember that, you know, we're not musicians. Prabhupada said we're not musicians. We're not professional. He stopped us, actually, because in London, I'll tell you, do you want to hear a funny story?
Sure, yes.
I want to hear a funny story. When I joined the temple, it was 71. And the Radha Krishna temple album had been produced. And that was Malati, Shyamasundar, Mukunda Janaki, and Gurudas, and Yamuna. And whoever they had else in England, Dhananjaya and a few others, and we cut that album with George Harrison. So we got many offers, you know, to do tours. Radha Krishna Temple album, we did tours in Germany, and we were quite famous, and because of the LP. So when I joined, it was at the end, and Prabhupada had just called, Malati, Shamasunda, Gurudas and Yamuna and Mukunda and Janaki, to go to India. Because he wanted a new wave to spread all over India. So it was just a few of it. There wasn't anyone left, actually. And we'd got one more gig in Halifax, which is the North Country, that they call it the Black Country. Big industrial area where people are really gross, you know. So we had this old beaten up van. T. Bhuvannath said, we got a gig. They'll pay us 60 quid. That was like when was that? I was 71, and multiplied by 12. 12, 6, that's like 700 pounds. That's like over $1,000. They're going to pay us $1,000 for doing this gig in a working man's club. So Sri Bhuvannath was like the only one who could play Madanga. And hardly anyone we could play cartels. I was a new devotee, wasn't even initiated. What did I know about playing cartels? So we went in the back door, where the how do you say, the door where the performers go. So there was a stage, and there was a curtain. And there was a curtain. And we could hear all the people talking, and the heavy smell of beer and cigarettes. And they were waiting for the Radha Krishna temple. And on top of the pops, they'd seen, they really jazzed it up. Oh, not jazzed it up, that's the wrong word. They had go-go dancers in mini skirts, and this, they had hot ice with smoke and like everything, making it seem like Arabian, like Indian and weird, And all these guys, the working class guys, were expecting some titillation, some sense gratification. Radha Krishna Temple album, beautiful girls in saris, That's what they're expecting. And then this guy, the announcer, and I was standing with Sri Bhuvannath was with. We didn't have a single Mataji with us. Can you imagine it? Not one Mataji, just a whole bunch of new bhaktas, So, the Radha Krishna Temple, Alma! The Radha Krishna Temple! They pull the curtain. And these guys looking at us, in saffron cloth. And Sri Bhuvannath getting on the money. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale. These guys all the people, they thought, oh no. What have we done? We brought these people here. The people will not be happy with this group. I was trying to play cartels, keep in beat, and dance, do the Swami step, and all our shaved heads and everything. So after a few minutes, it's all right now. It's all right, lads. You can go now. We got the next group. The next group's waiting. The next group's waiting. Okay. Sri Bhuvannath tried to get them chanting because we didn't know how to do it. I think he tried hard. I don't think he knew how to split up the mantra. Splitting up the mantra is very important, actually. Or else people just take it as some group, But when you split it, Hare Krishna, then it's interactive. So Sri Bhuvannath didn't do that. So okay, thank you. And they gave us our 60 quid. $1,000. And that was it. That was just show. And Prabhupada wrote to Mukunda, he said, you better stop these tours. Actually, they'd already stopped those tours. Mukunda said, we're not professionals. We're not professionals. So who cares? Who cares whether someone's beating's not right or this and that? These people are hearing the holy name. That's the bottom line. So we have to tolerate, if somebody's not a good musician or playing not quite right. They're sincere. The holy name's going out there. And they're benefiting. And it's a yagya. It's a simple yagya. You don't have to be a musician to chant the holy names. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Okay, time's up. Oh, 30 seconds. Another question? 30 seconds, going, gone. I don't know whether Hamsarupa will let us go for time, but it looks pretty heavy this year. Finish properly by 9 a.m. That's 9 seconds. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki. Bande Krishna Nanda Kumara. Nanda Kumara. Nanda Gopala. Nanda Gopala. Mohana Rupa. Mohana Rupa. Nanda Kumara. Jaya Jaya. Govinda Hari Gopala Hari Govinda